My name is Timothy Long. I'm a resident in the recovery program. Well, I had a pretty good childhood. Was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Came up in a Christian household. My mother was a pianist in church. My dad was a deacon, and I was raised in a Baptist church. I played a lot of team sports like baseball and football through school. I had some struggles in school because, in your adolescent years, I rebelled a lot. My coach advised me, if you don't go to school and you don't do your academics, you wouldn't be able to play in the games. And I was a big fan of baseball and football, so I wanted to play in games. So I got my grades up and I attended school the way I was supposed to. Being the only son, I took advantage of that a little bit because I was a mama's boy. I was real close with my mom. Bless her soul, she passed away from breast cancer. During that time, it took me for complete turnaround because I was, so close to my mom. Me and my dad was all right, but then my mother was really, more of a friend to me than, my dad. After me graduating high school and early 20s, I started experimenting with alcohol and indulge in partying and stuff, after games and so on and so on. And I started smoking a little marijuana. That led to other things, and that led to crack cocaine. And that took me through a spiral in life, that separated me a lot from my mother, my father, my siblings, and so on and so on, because I let it take complete control of my life at that point. My mother, she put me in a rehab. That was back in the 80s, and it was a 30-day program. I really wasn't there for, myself. I was there because my mom took me there. I left and I came to California. I was first introduced to the Midnight Mission when I first came here, and that was back in the 90s. And it was in another location, which was on 4th and Los Angeles. And I remember going there, and that wasn't just, for a program, it was just for a bed and a meal. And I did that for a little while, and I packed up and I left, and I went out to Arizona. I stayed out in Arizona, which, things spiraled out of control, dealing with different girls, and we was in the same category in our addiction. So I stayed out there for maybe 10 years, going through, up and down, relationships, and something just hit me. I came back to California. So I came back to California in 2022. I came back to the Midnight Mission. But once again, I wasn't really key on my sobriety at the time. I came here as a red badge, which it was just for housing. I really wasn't here for recovery. So that lasted for a few months. I took off again. I went back home, which was down south. I looked for some relatives that I wasn't really sure where they was buried at, and so on and so on. And it was kind of like a frustrating situation that, I felt like, even though this is home, it was nothing there for me anymore. So I packed up and I came back to Los Angeles. I came back to the Midnight Mission. My advocate, which was Marcy, she was still here, and she accepted me into the Midnight Mission. She asked me, did I want to get back in the housing program? But I know deep down within, I needed, some recovery time. Not knowing what the circumstances was or what degree I was going to have to go through for the program. So I said, yes, I need some recovery time. I went through the housing once before, that didn't work. So she did my intake and brought me into the recovery program. That was, I want to say, October 23rd, 2023. One day led into another day led into another day, and days start falling, weeks start falling, months start passing by. And through all that time, I started getting stronger in my sobriety, because during that time, I had a visit with my primary care doctor. So they found out through tests that I had a tumor, cancerous tumor on my liver. Not my liver, but my kidney. The outcome, I had to actually have surgery. They caught the cancer before it spread within my kidney, where it would have been terminal. So they removed the whole kidney. So through that time there, I feel grateful and blessed to be able to come back to the Midnight Mission, recognize things that I didn't know was happening to me within. And today I can see a better insight on my life now than have been, pretty dark and gloomy for a lot of years, especially since me losing my mother once again. If you really want recovery, you got to put in some work. It's not something just fall off on your plate and you just digest it and it's gone. It's something that you have to live. It's a daily reprieve. I have to wake up every day and I have to meditate. I have to pray, and I have to thank the Lord for the 24 hours He got me through again to see another day. Even though after my surgery, I'm stronger now. I can see things a lot clearer now. And I thank the Midnight Mission for allowing me to come here and see a lot of things within myself that I wouldn't been able to see on my own. If you're ever coming up 6th Street in San Pedro, Midnight Mission sits right on the corner. And I tell you what, me, myself, coming here, it have changed my life in so many ways that I couldn't explain now. The things they have given me, not material things, but a lot of spiritual things they have opened my eyes to see within my life. At 58 years old, I see a whole new lifestyle today that I couldn't see once upon a time.